And it can complement your integrated pest management program. Talk to your Syngenta retailer about the unprecedented performance of Miravis Prime. Always read and follow label instructions.
Hey, folks, those spring discount days just keep rolling. At Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens in Ocala, there's an unheard of buy one, get one super buy on blueberries, just $4.99. And there's also an unheard of buy one, get one free on bougainvillea, as low as $22.99. Bob has hundreds of hydrangeas, many different colors, starting at just $19.99. And as usual, all flowering trees and shade trees are buy one, get one at half price. And yes, Bob Wines is Crepe Myrtle headquarters for all of Ocala, picked from a dozen bright and wild colors, starting as low as $24.99. Now check the ad, call ahead with your order. You don't even have to leave your car. Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens on Southeast 38th Street in Ocala, in the same blooming place since 1952.
WOCA.
Ocala. Today will be mostly sunny, high 89 to 92. Tonight, mainly clear with a low 67 to 70. For tomorrow, partly sunny, high 91 to 94. Then at night, patchy clouds with a low 68 to 71. Partly sunny Friday, thunderstorm in spots for the afternoon, high 90 to 95. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Kevin Snyder.
Good morning. You're listening to AM Ocala Live, WOCA, The Source, 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, broadcasting to you live from the Paddock Mall, streaming live, YouTube Live, WOCA, The Source Radio. 6 minutes past the top of the 8 o'clock hour. It's time for Live South Community Blood Centers. We got Galen on the phone. Good morning, my friend.
Hey, Adam. How are you today?
Not too bad. Not too bad. It is Wednesday. It's hump day, and I know how to handle it now, so I'm okay. I'm hanging in there.
Oh, all right. Well, there's a step in the right direction.
Right direction. Speaking of a step in the right direction, as I was coming up to the 8 o'clock hour, I was reading something off of ESPN. We had talked about it yesterday a little bit when we had Avilio in the studio, and you made a great point. You made the idea point that with baseball having so many of these working parts and not really agreeing on a whole lot, and what we've seen in the media, that if they don't get something together here soon, maybe even by Memorial Day, we might not see a 2020 baseball season.
Right, and I don't think anything's really moved. And again, baseball players are, their union is so strong that you can't do anything without them.
Right.
The NFL has proven not to be nearly as strong. The NFL, they pretty much proved that you could kill their players, slowly, and you only have to pay a small amount per player. So, and that's
point.
The largest generating. So, and because. And part of it is the shelf life of a Major League Baseball player is so much longer.
Right.
So they're much more invested in the long-term play. And baseball as itself is a very much a patience-driven, nobody cares about results until you get 100 games.
Right.
Whereas most people in the NFL never play in 100 games. So it's a completely different mindset. So, these Major League Baseball players, they don't care if they play.
Mm-mm.
I think they care. I guess that's a wrong say. I think they're okay not playing. How about that?
There you
They're
go.
Okay
Yeah, that's what I was going to think to clear it up. It's to play or not to play isn't really the question. They're okay with not playing. They probably would like to play, but it like you said, they're okay with it not probably happening, like you said.
Sure, and they have the largest slush fund of any union.
Yeah.
So they could continue to pay their players a stipend, so nobody would go hungry. They don't care about the minor leagues now because the minor leagues, they're not in the union, so they're not protected by that.
Right.
And minor league baseball players have no vote.
Right.
So they don't care. And if you strike, right, if you're like sitting home, why don't they just go play? They can, or they can never join the union.
Right.
And that brings up all kinds of problems.
Exactly.
So,
And that's the stuff rooted in what we saw in 1994 with all that and craziness. Now,
yeah, it goes further back than that. But yeah, you're right. You're right.
You know what? You brought up another good point. Somebody asked me the other day, because over in Pensacola, they've got a AA ball club and the Blue Wahoos. What does that mean for minor league baseball? It even if Major League Baseball gets rolling, is there anything saying that minor league baseball would even have to play?
Yeah, I think they will.
Yeah.
I think minor league baseball will come back, definitely, because they have to have a place for these players to play.
Yeah.
When they are hurt. The issue is how, and what you solve it for Major League Baseball, you can solve it for minor league, because it's much better. And by the way, that's one of the better AA ballparks in the country, is right there.
Yeah.
The Wahoos play, where you can look out on the bay, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. I've seen more than one game there.
Nice, man. Yeah, good stuff. Now, we mentioned, like I said before 8 o'clock, I thought I expressed my opinion with this, and I wanted to hear yours. But basically, they said, they put this on a little pedestal here. It says, more than sports like the PGA, UFC, which are organizing individual events, or even the NBA and NHL, which have completed most of their regular season, Major League Baseball's complicated experiment with all of these dizzying array of moving parts, they say, this guy says here, an emotional litmus test of the nation's ability to regain control over normalcy. And if it fails, it could deal an equally crushing blow. That's a little much. What do you think?
Oh, but well, again, it ties in with what, in ESPN and much of these. I asked off air who wrote that. It was written by the staff. But that's how they view the American public, as this fragile little thing that has to be protected. And
why?
What are we going to do? I mean, the world's just not going to be able to recover if there's no baseball. Well, guess what? The ESPN is airing Korean baseball right now in the morning.
Yeah.
So I don't think the world has stopped. Since baseball is still supposed to start in April and hasn't. Again, it's just people are very sanctimonious, and they love how. Whoever wrote that's like, man, this is going to win me a Pulitzer.
Yeah, I think that's what they were going for there.
Journalism.
Yeah.
Let me be as profound as possible. Who cares? And this is part of the reason why ESPN has become, almost like background noise. For a long time, ESPN was at the forefront of it. If you were a sports fan, that's what you watched, right?
Right.
You'd watch 5 to 6 hours of Sports Center. You'd watch all of them, just depending on who was on.
Right.
It was your world. And then they decided that, wow, we need to do more than sports. We need to get into the world of politics and finance, right?
Yeah.
And we need to do stories that are groundbreaking. And it changed, and I think every time they do that, it sliced a little piece of the audience off. And so now they don't matter. Their ratings are infinitesimally small, except when they have a live sporting event.
Right.
So, they're just not important anymore.
Did that happen before Disney or after Disney, when they all came together?
I think it was before. I think it was really when ABC bought them. Because ABC was kind of promoting them as their sports news, and then they tried to do sports version of TMZ. And people were like, "Oh no, it started with the X Games." I said, "Well, the original X Games was about sports that were not mainstream." And I think the first few got it, and then they got into climate change with the X Games and how that was impact sports, and there was a lot of that kind of thing, and they just completely changed. But they thought they were going in the right direction, and I think the majority of sports fans are like, "This is crazy. We just want you to do college football."
Yeah.
Right? Talk about college football.
Yeah.
And that's what gets their biggest numbers, by the way. I don't know how many people know that.
Right.
Their biggest viewing audience for both non-sport events and sporting events is college football.
Yeah.
Game Day Live is still a must-watch, and that's about it.
And
it's bigger even than the NFL on a Monday night.
Right. Well, and I think that's because it's kind of stayed true. You're tuning in to watch and hear about the other college teams and the games leading up to. There's not over-dramatized politics and like you said, all that thrown into it.
They have people on the air who are just terrible, too. So, Jess Mendoza, who, broke the glass ceiling, is the first female analyst, right, on ESPN and for their baseball coverage.
Right.
I don't care. She's just not very good. She's a terrible analyst. I think most analysts are pretty terrible, but she's the worst. Mm-hmm. And now they're going to do the same thing for NFL on Monday night. They're going to have a female analyst. That's coming, by the way. It's just a matter of who it is. I heard it's going to be Mia Kimes. It's again, I think it's terrible, but that's okay. I don't care. I don't watch much. Most Monday night games are terrible anyway, and I don't watch them.
It's interesting just to the idea of what was written in that article that would be the litmus test of the United States, and if it fails, it would be epic. You know what? Like I was trying to say there, I was preaching a little bit before 8 o'clock, was at the end of the day, Americans care about if they can have their restaurants to 100% capacity, if their bars and gyms, if their normalcy comes from what they can do within their community. If you and I both know that we can take our family to a theme park on a Saturday or a Sunday and not be so complicated or even be closed, that's the stuff that matters, I think, more so now than just, whether or not Major League Baseball comes back.
Yeah. And I believe the theme park is pretty low on the grand scheme of things.
Right.
But to me, theme parks go hand in hand with a sporting event. If I can go to Disney World, then I can go to a theme park.
Yeah.
And again, this just all goes back to what you believe this virus is. Mm-hmm. Right? I mean, we're finding out more and more it's a lot less infectious than we thought they were.
Yeah.
Our percentage of people who have the antibodies is a lot less than anybody imagined. So it's just very rare that people have it.
Yeah.
And then if you took nursing homes out of the equation,
what a difference.
There wouldn't be nearly as. I mean, I saw a percentage it could account for like 75% of the deaths.
Oh wow.
I don't know if that's true, but. Yeah, so it's massively significant. So like in Washington State, I think they would only have like less than 100 if it wasn't for the nursing homes.
If it wasn't for the nursing homes, yeah, and that's where everything kind of kicked off, right? That's where everything got started with the apprehension, is because of the nursing homes and how it went.
And they were being checked out of the hospital,
and
sent into these nursing homes. Probably the wrong, I don't know. Long-term health care providers where they're not healthy enough to go home, but they're still healthy enough to leave the hospital.
Right.
And so they go into those, and it was just spreading the virus. It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Now, I thought this was interesting. I ended up eating at a restaurant yesterday, and they were doing 50% capacity, and the hostesses are doing a great job, and even the server staff and who they had on, and just trying to make it work. But it was really interesting how, again, these guidelines. I was going to ask you, Galen, if you've eaten at a restaurant here with the 50% capacity or even less, and how it's being implemented with the guidelines and stuff. How long do you see this actually lasting, with servers wearing masks and not being able to stand in the waiting area, that you either have to go wait in your car or wait outside? How long do you see that actually continuing?
It's already coming apart.
Yeah.
I know where I was at when I ate at Daytona. Nobody had a mask on.
No.
I was at I ate lunch down in Tampa yesterday. Nobody had a mask.
Yeah. Did the wait staff?
We were able to. None of them. Nobody.
Okay.
Nobody I saw yesterday had a mask.
Gotcha.
So it's just going to fall apart.
Yeah.
So
now,
I guess a third of all the third of all the coronavirus deaths are nursing home residents and or workers. Third, so I got that reversed.
Gotcha, a third.
Still significant, very significant.
Very much. And, talking about the wearing the masks thing, obviously the theme parks are trying to open. Disney Springs is looking to open up today at 10 a.m. Universal
That's
City
a shopping center. That's not really
right.
To be clear, they could have opened before. Yeah.
Now, SeaWorld, as we read in the article here, as they were seen testing the roller coaster yesterday with riders wearing masks. Isn't that a little absurd?
Well, it just doesn't pass the smell test, right? or the common sense test.
Right.
You're going, on the Mako, I think you go like 65 miles an hour.
Yeah. If not faster. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right. Maybe when you're waiting in line, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Again, this is what happens when you create fear amongst people. And by the way, if you're afraid of the coronavirus, why in the world would you go to a public setting like SeaWorld?
Right.
Now, I'm on record that I hate SeaWorld. I hate that the leading cause of dolphins in captivity is suffocation. And then number two is chlorine poisoning. I hate SeaWorld. I will never go to a SeaWorld. I'll never go watch a dolphin or a whale show because I think it's just wrong. That said, if you want to go, why in the world would you be afraid of coronavirus?
Yeah, exactly. But it's the... And then all this is that facade of the safety, the idea for the warm and fuzzies, and then to say that we're doing something. I don't know.
It makes no sense. Again, you're this is what happens when people turn over their lives and all of their safety, and they give it over to a third party, which is our federal government. And then our local government. I think local governments are playing this much smarter.
Yes.
Then the higher you go up, the dumber you get. I thought DeSantis did a really good job last Friday.
Yeah.
I don't know if he'll make another. I think he's going to make another jump. He's got to open up these privately owned condos and rentals, and he's got to do that before Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
People are going to go crazy on him. I wouldn't be surprised if he came out and said something over the next 2 days about that.
About it, yeah. Interesting. As mentioning today, as it's brought up that Vice President Mike Pence is coming to Orlando for Tourism Roundtable as he'll meet with Governor DeSantis. And do you see anything just because of that meeting? Anything coming quicker to open things back up even more? Just kind of like you said, just continuing on.
Again, they could open it now, and Disney would probably I think there'd be a burst of activity, and then it would kind of ratchet down to about half.
Yeah.
Just because there are some people who are afraid to walk outside. I've talked to them, and I look at them like they're nuts. But you're not going to convince them otherwise. They think this is, that this virus is going to get worse, and that in October, it's going to come back, and it's going to come back tougher. And the only thing we should do is shelter in place. And I'm like, okay, I looked at the person. I said, well, I don't want to live my life that way. So maybe it'll get me early. Maybe I can die and go to heaven. And there's a lot of baseball games in heaven. So a lot of fishing.
What did they say to that?
They don't believe in God, but they just could not believe that I was that flippant about this deadly virus.
Yeah.
Said, pretty flippant about cancer too. You get it? You just fight it as long as you can. I don't know.
Yeah.
You can cry about it if you want. I'm not going to run in fear from anything.
Yeah. Exactly. Moving on just a little bit here, partner. Yesterday, there was an election. It took 4 elections to decide the seat after a past felony conviction disqualified the original winner, as Ira Bethio.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, won Tuesday's Ocala City Council special election runoff, the last leg of a marathon process to fill that District 2 seat. What do you think?
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I was like, they probably should have known he had a conviction. Somebody probably should have looked that up. Yeah, good for. I the crazy thing is, I voted for Ira, I think 4 times.
Is that right?
I got it back in the mail. I'm like, how do you vote for him? Yeah, so good.
Yeah. And with that now, it's nice to see something like that after everything that's gone through, like you said, the 4 elections and then this pandemic and then moving dates. Hey, it's finally done. That's something. That's a little check in the box. All right, move on. 2020. That's done here for Ocala.
Yes, yeah. Parks. I think the next step is they open up all the rentals. They open up parks 100%.
Yeah.
Not theme parks, but outdoor
parks.
Like basketball courts, tennis courts, things like that. Golf courses. Golf courses. It may not change. I mean, they may open the driving range, but I think online check-in and everything is going to become the norm.
Yeah, it might be.
I think that may be the norm. So, and then restaurants will open up to 75%, whatever the heck that means.
Yeah.
It's virtually 100%. So, again, I think, they're doing the slow, smart, if I hear one person tell me, well, I don't understand the harm of the mask. And I'm like, I just believe that wearing a mask for 6 hours can do me more harm than good. So I know what PPE is meant to protect myself. It's not meant to protect anybody else.
Yep.
So.
Yep. With that being said, this segment of our show, as we run through it every day here with Galen, is sponsored by Palm Garden Health and Rehabilitation Center. We'd like to thank Palm Garden Health and Rehabilitation Center, located at 2700 Southwest 34th Street. We know they offer skilled nursing, physical, occupational, and speech therapy. And just like you heard from the advertisements there, as they're doing their best to, day by day, figure out what's next in regards to handling COVID-19 to get it back open so you can see your loved ones. Any questions that you have, they encourage you to give them a call, 352-854-6262, 854-6262 for Palm Garden Health and Rehabilitation Center, and Penn Flooring, a good friend of the show here, family owned and operated, serving Marion County for over 30 years, full service flooring company dedicated finding the best solution for your flooring needs. Experience in both commercial and residential, found at 1201 Southwest 17th Street in Ocala, 352-351-3420. That's 351-3420. As we come towards the bottom of the 8 o'clock hour, Galen, the blood mobile, and how has the blood supply been here now through Wednesday, almost halfway through the week?
Yeah, we're still in emergency need of everything. So
yeah.
Please call us, make an appointment, 622-3544 or lightsouth.org. We are in emergency need of all blood types. We need platelets. We need plasma. And again, if you've had a positive test result for COVID, we'd love for you to become a plasma donor. So you can ask us about that. And just give the gift of life, donate blood. Today we're going to be at the Guns and Gold pawn shop. So right there on 17th. What is that? Highway 17.
Yep.
So come by and see us and give the gift of life, donate blood.
Absolutely, absolutely. And like you said, just the emergency need for it, because like we talked about with the, it's been a month now that we've had the elective surgeries now back in action, or just about a month. And with that is a bigger use of that blood supply. And like you said, now just trying to get people who want to help, who've been wanting to help for a while, hey, here's an opportunity to do so. Get out there, give the gift of life, and donate blood. We appreciate it, partner, as look forward to talking at you tomorrow. And who knows, maybe we'll see by the end of the week what Major League Baseball comes up with. And before you go,
we'll see.
They said that one of the, how did they put it? They said one sports executive gave Major League Baseball a 75% chance of completing the season. What would Galen say for the percentage of chance of Major League Baseball? actually?
50-50, and with each day it dwindles a little bit. So
Yeah.
right now it's 50-50.
What would you say?
Coin flip.
They need to get something decided by, would you say, Memorial Day?
Yeah, I'll extend to June 1.
Yeah.
But that means they have to start spring training like that following week, and they have a lot of hoops to jump through.
A lot.
So,
A lot.
where do they pick up the season? You can't play in every state yet. A lot of hoops to jump through. Again, 50-50 at best.
Yeah. You got it, partner. Have a good one. Be safe where you're getting, man. We'll talk at you tomorrow.
Sounds good.
WOCA, back after this.
Coronavirus closures ending today. In Connecticut, people can be back in stores, offices, and at restaurants only outside. Dave Mascolo manages Trumbull Kitchen in Hartford.
I think people are excited to get out and maybe, have that special birthday that they missed or anniversary. And I think people, they want to feel safe and they want to be out and be able to enjoy themselves.
Retail's okay at 33% capacity in